Hello folks, Charles75N here. First I want to thank everyone for all their support on the Ben Coombs Reamer Beretta special fabric top project. Really appreciate that. And maybe it's about time I took you on a fabric shopping video. You really talk about how I get inspired for the projects that I'm doing and how I find the fabrics that I want to use. So sometimes it begins with sometimes this will begin with me looking online for fabrics, looking for something to get inspired with. But really, I prefer actually going into the fabric stores themselves and taking maybe a guitar body with me and hunting out a fabric that just pulls me when I look at it. And when I do find something that is online, if I can look at it locally, I'll go do that because I can go see if the print, the size of the print really matches the guitar. Does it really do what I want it to do? All right, so with that, let's take a trip to a couple of fabric stores. Here we are in Joanns, and this is the place I like to come and look at fabrics because they have lots of different options, and you can see some really cool patterns behind us here. And so, sometimes when I'm looking for a fabric, what I'll do is I'll look online first and kind of get a sense of what I want, or sometimes I'll just have an idea in my mind, and then I'll just walk the aisles and kind of cruise and find something and pull out all the things that are really cool options. Okay, so this trip wasn't as productive as I was hoping to be. So I did find some cool fabrics. This would really take the clear really well, darken up nice, and it'd be something else. And then with Halloween coming up, the whole Dias de los Muertos theme here. But this is the one I actually came in for. And the pattern is bigger than I thought it was going to be, but it may work on the guitar I want. And so I did in a way that I kind of figure out if the pattern's too big. I brought it. I'm going to be doing it on a regular Tele, not a Tele Deluxe like this, but the body's the same size, so I can kind of see what it's going to look like. And of course, knowing that the pickguard is going to be out of the way too. But I really like this pattern, and I'm going to make it work. The figure I was really looking for on this particular fabric was this one right here, and unfortunately, it's too big to really fit on the front, unless I arrange it so that it's there when I open up the next side of it. And so I'll look at that. If not, it's going to be killer on the back of a Tele. So that might be something just for the player. Alright, so here we are at Hobby Lobby. Didn't find what I really wanted at Joanns, so we came over to Hobby Lobby and looked at some fabrics and just walked the aisles and kind of looked at things that jumped out at me for different projects that I've kind of got on the back burner. So something that just interests me, and then there's something in here that might interest one of my friends, and there's something in here that might interest that may go on a project of mine. And so just walking the aisles, I thought, one of the things that I look for is a fabric that's completely unique. And the way that the colors are kind of done in this, it's got a wide variety of colors. It's going to pop with the clear. The design is kind of eclectic. So if you want something that's a little bit out there, it could be something that would work out really well. The pattern's a little bigger than I'd like to do on a guitar, but it repeats enough that I think it would work really well. So I'm a big fan of paisley patterns, and I think you can get a really fancy vibe with a paisley. And this one is, all kinds of different colors. And so this white background is going to yellow up a little bit and add even more contrast with the poly. And the blues will darken up a little bit, and the browns will kind of blend in. And that would be a really fancy look, I think. And then, of course, another paisley. The thing that I found out when I did the Carrera fabric top strap was that this process really loves the light purples. And so in this fabric, it's got a lot of light purple running through it into a dark little purple, and then a lighter blue that would darken up nicely. So the only thing about this pattern to consider is that these paisleys are a little bit bigger, so you're going to want to put this on a guitar that's got more surface area in order to see that pattern repeat well. And then I just thought this one was kind of out there. Again, going with that idea of the purples and how purple really comes out really well in this process. that I found was really interesting. And because of the way this is, and it's variegated and everything else, it really doesn't matter um, the surface area. So if you were doing a strat, this might look pretty cool as well. This, I like this purple paisley. This pattern is the right size. The only thing I wish they had done differently on this was more of a contrast between the purple and the darker color in it. So I'm not sure what this would do in the clear. The dark would definitely get a whole lot darker. The lighter color might pop a little bit more, but I'm not so sure. So this would be one, if I was going to do it, I would grab a smaller swatch and do a test with it to see how it would come out. But I like this paisley pattern. I kind of seen this fabric before, and for the project I'm working for my deluxe Telecaster project, I really wanted a green, maybe a green and gold, and I like this pattern. But again, I wish the pattern in it was darker to really set it across more from the green. So if this was black or dark blue or something like that, it really would have done it. If this pattern that was on this fabric was gold, this would have been the one right here. And then I found this fabric. It's over with the Christmas fabrics, and to kind of illustrate, this is what I was going. This is kind of the color scheme I'm looking for, and I'm really trying to decide whether I want to do that on the Telecaster Deluxe, because is it going to look too Christmassy on it? But this whole idea of the green and the gold and in a pattern that would work. And so the idea is, when you come through, you want to look and you want to sit there and find things that grab you. I prefer really coming in person, looking at the fabrics, because then when you look at a fabric like this, and you can really judge how big the pattern is and whether it's going to work for you or not. And the same thing with this one. I think that pattern repeats enough that it'd be okay. And definitely with this paisley pattern, it's a bigger paisley pattern, but I think it works. This one is so different that it goes every which way, so it works out really well. But I think this would be beautiful on a guitar. And the only thing that stops me from getting this fabric is the little leaves. Can you come in? The little leaves here, they look a little bit too Christmassy, some of these leaves. Like that right there. But if I can find a fabric that's got this kind of color scheme in this kind of a pattern, then we'd have it made. So I don't think that I'm going to go ahead and buy any tip fabrics today, but definitely have some ideas for what things I might like to use in the future. Hey folks, thank you so much for coming on this shopping expedition with me and seeing how I do things and how I process things, and how I go about making decisions about what fabrics I want to use and what things I think work and don't work. There is going to be a part 2 video where we do some online fabric shopping together, and I show you how I find things and how I get inspired. But really, I prefer going and get them in person. But as these 2 expeditions show you, you can't always find what you're looking for in person. But it does help you kind of see things that when you see them online, you can kind of put it together with what you've seen before, and that certainly helps out. So, as always, enjoy your guitar journey, and thank you for being part of mine. All right.